Hey beauties, welcome back. This eye look today is going to be fall inspired copper toned. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, and turn on your notifications so that you know every time that I upload a video. And if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. I started off this look with the Bobbi Brown Face Base Primer. Just put this all over my face. I usually use this primer in the winter because it's a little thicker, like a thick lotion. But we're going to use it today, just because I haven't used it in a while. Rub that all over the face, not just in the T-zone, because we're not going to be using any other primer, just this one. And as you can see, I have a little friend that popped up from wearing a mask, so hopefully this foundation will cover it up, and that is the Estee Lauder Hydrating Foundation. It does have a pump, and it has SPF 45, which is good. Just going to dot this all over the face, especially on my little friend right there. Get rid of him. Put it on the rest of my face. This is the second time I've wore this foundation. I usually don't wear hydrating because I have combo to oily skin. And we're going to go ahead and pounce that into the skin with my e.l.f. sponge, which I love. e.l.f. makes my favorite sponges. They're super soft, bouncy. They don't feel like a rock on your face. And actually, that foundation gave me pretty good coverage, as you can see. High, medium to full coverage. So, just going to pounce that into the face, over the eye. And on the other side, I did decide to try out a brush, just to see with this foundation, since it is hydrating, if that gave it more coverage. So we tried to do only half of the face with a sponge, and then moving on to my Sigma flat top. And we're just gonna, I kind of just buff that in. Brushes are not my favorite, not a big fan of that. I am a sponge girl, but we did try the brush with this today just because I normally don't wear this type of foundation. But as you can see, the other side gave me fuller coverage, and this side with the brush was a little bit streaky also. So you can see from one side to the other, that is not the same coverage. So we do go back in with a little bit more product and that e.l.f. sponge, and we're going to even out the face. Yeah, full coverage, not full coverage. So just squirting a little bit more. That was like a pump, I guess. These pumps on that foundation are not big, they're really small. So putting some more foundation all over the face, just going to even all that out. Once again, if you have not tried e.l.f. sponges, you should go try it. They're $5-6 at Walmart, any drugstore, Target, and they're super good. It's better than the Beauty Blender, and the Beauty Blender is $20. I have 2 Beauty Blenders, and I never reach for them. So that should say something. I love my e.l.f. sponges. So we're going to go in, that is the Smashbox Concealer. That's in the color Fair. Swipe it right there in the corner of the eyes. Going to put a little bit down the nose, in between my brows, and on my Cupid's bow, just because. And of course, I always prime my eyes with the same concealer that I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and push that into the skin, And this particular sponge here is just a little big for under the eyes. And you'll see I just smush it together to really blend that out under the eye. But it still turned out just as flawless as the other sponge that I usually use for that. And as you can see, I just had to kind of tilt it and push it. But it's so bouncy, it was no problem. Blending that out over the eyelid, back under the eye, and do the same thing to the other side of the face. I think I go a little crazy with these sponges just because it feels relaxing on my face, and I love them. I probably don't need to pounce that many times, but that's the e.l.f. matte setting powder. And I chose the matte one today just because that foundation is so hydrating. I wanted to make sure nothing was going to move around. So we just set the entire face with that e.l.f. matte setting powder. Poured a little bit more on the top and going to the other side just to make sure everything looks flawless and airbrushed. And yes, you can still see my little friend, but it's okay. Going in with my Maybelline Silk Matte Bronzer. That's in the shade 01. And that brush there, I just got off Walmart. It came in a set of 5 for like $10. And they're really good brushes. We're just putting that around the perimeters of the face, the hollows of the cheeks, up on my forehead. We're also going to do under my jawline. And that brush, by the way, is super soft. That is the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in the color Sugar. It's not too peach, it's not too pink. And for the eye look that we're going for today, the copper tone, this was a good shade. And I always put my blush on the back sides of my cheeks, never on the apples on my cheeks, because not a good look for me. It makes me look like a clown. I do see some of y'all put it on the apples of your cheeks and y'all look beautiful, but not for me. Moving on to the ABH highlighter in the shade Hollywood. And again, that's a brush I got from that set from Walmart. And I'm putting that on the cheekbones. And if you want your skin to look wet, this is the highlighter to go to. It's an oldie but a goodie. I do pull it out sometimes. And you can see that shine, shine, shine. When I'm super fair though, like in the wintertime, I have a little color to my skin now, but in the wintertime, I cannot use this color. It is a little too gold for me. But just applying that all over the high points of my face. Brow bone, cheekbone, cupid's bow, above my brow, in between my brow, down my nose. Wherever the high points are. I do really love this color. It's beautiful. Going in my Lorac Pro palette, and those two shades there, we're going to mix and throw in the crease. That is a fluffy Sigma blending brush. Same thing with the other eye. Mix those two colors. Throw it in that crease. Windshield wiper motions. Back and forth. Make sure it's super blended. And again, just mixing those two shades that I showed. Going in with the Profusion Spectrum palette. This was $4.98 at Walmart, and it's so good. Going in with that orange color. I'm going to throw that in the crease. If you have not tried Profusion, especially the eyeshadow palettes, you need to go try one. They are so good, so pigmented. They don't pull, tug, drag. They just go on the eyes smooth. They're not chalky. They're not too powdery. There's no kickback. And for under $5, you can't beat it. And we're going to run a little bit of that same color right under the lash line. That burnt orange color. Same thing with the other eye. Just matching what we did on the top. Going in with these two shades here, that burnt orange and that burgundy shade, and taking a denser brush and really packing that on the outer portion of my eye. Same thing with the other eye. And that same brush came in that set that I got from Walmart. 5 brushes, I think it was like under $10 or $10. But they're really good brushes. Again, focusing that just on the outer edge of the eye, and then sweeping the extra underneath the lash line. Just matching what we did, and going in with that burnt orange shade with that Sigma fluffy brush, and just blending out anything that looks rough, any rough edges, anything like that. We want super blended eye look. Like we took all day and blended. Blending out that burgundy shade, making sure there's no harsh lines of anything. Took a little bit more, went right there in the outer edge. Same thing with the other eye. Again, really focusing on that outer corner, give my eye some depth, and just running whatever's left over on the brush underneath my eye. Going back in with that Lorac Pro palette with that icy shade, and we're going to highlight the brow bone. And I just flipped that brush over that we used. It's almost like a concealer brush, so it has like 2 flat sides, but it worked great for highlighting that brow bone. And then we're going to do the inner corners of the eye. Same thing, that icy shade from the Lorac Pro palette. Putting that up a little bit. Moving on, L'Oreal. This is in the color Amber Rush, and it is a copper color. And of course, it is a shimmer shade. There's no flecks of glitter or anything, but I use my finger for any glitter, shimmer, anything like that. It's the best tool to put anything like that on the lid. So we're just packing that on the lid, and the same thing for the other eye. I am so ready for fall, you guys. It is my favorite season. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, besides Christmas. But I am so ready for fall. Taking that same fluffy brush and just cleaning up any of the extra glitter that got on the top. And taking that same brush that we used to highlight and that Amber Rush color from L'Oreal, and just putting that right on the lower lash line in the middle. Just going to match what we did on the top. Going in with this e.l.f. glitter. And it's the exact same shade as that L'Oreal Amber Rush. It's like a copper tone, but this is actual glitter. So we're just going to apply that to the eye. Give our eyes some more light to them. Make them shine. And this applicator is pretty good. I don't have to use a different brush. Usually with these kind of applicators, I do go in with a brush, but you see it applies just like a brush. So any black matte shade will do. That is from my Wet n Wild palette. And this is a liner brush from Jeffree Star. It can be any liner brush. But we're going to go in just like we're doing a liquid liner, but with eyeshadow. Just so the lines aren't so harsh. We want a more soft line look. And I am going to pull that out and make a wing. And little liner brushes like that make this type of stuff so easy to do. Just pull that in. The same thing I would do with a liquid liner, but just with a black eyeshadow. It's just with the black eyeshadow, it doesn't look as harsh. And pulling that wing out just a little. And as you can see, beautiful. Same thing with the other eye. Packing that on and getting it as close to the lash line as you can. Like, I'm literally going in my eyelashes with this black. You don't want any skin or anything showing between there. Same thing, making that wing and pulling it back in just as I would do a liquid liner. Going back with that e.l.f. matte powder and that same brush that we highlighted the brow bone with, and cleaning up right under that little wing we made, just to make it look sharp. Brushing through the brows. I usually don't do too much to my brows. They're naturally thick, so not too much there. But we're going to go in with some black liner. That's from Hard Candy. I usually try to use a fluffy brush to kind of just gently pull my lid down to get to the waterline, but I didn't have it right on my makeup desk, so using the finger for today. But this liner here is smooth and it glides, so right in that waterline. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other eye. And taking that smudge brush and whatever was left over on there and just smudging that out. Going in with some Tarte mascara, Lights Camera Lashes, and we're going to put 2 coats of that on my lashes. Figured I would switch it up today, just because I'm always showing my Thrive Cosmetics mascara so much love. Have to switch it up. But this mascara is good too. It just doesn't last all day on me like the Thrive Cosmetics. But big difference with 1 coat, as you can see. Going to do the same thing with the other eye. Coat those lashes. I prefer mascara that have a natural bristle brush. Even though the Thrive Cosmetics doesn't, it has that plastic wand. But this wand here is good. It's not so big like the CoverGirl one, that Lash Blast, because I cannot do my bottom lashes with that one. But just going in with the bottom lashes and only 1 coat. And as you can see, that mascara wand fits right up under there because it's small. It made a big difference. It brought my eyes to life. I look alive now. That is the NYX lip liner in the color Sandstorm. It is a neutral brown and perfect for this look. So we're lining the lips, and I always overline just a little bit because my lips are naturally full, so I don't do too much. Don't want to look too crazy, but just overlining the top a little bit and going in with this Revlon, I think it's lip lacquer, and it's in that shade. It's in a mauve shade. I have the peach shade, but today's look called for mauve, so we use that. And I love this. It's not sticky or thick. So just applying that to the lips. Taking that same Hard Candy little liner and just pulling that inner corner line. And as you can see, big difference. And we're going to go in with the MAC Fix Plus Matte Setting Spray. Shaking that up because there is powders in there. And just going to drench the face with that. It smells just like the original, just has a fresh scent. So that was good. And here we just went ahead and turned off the studio lights so you could see the glittery, pretty, coppery colored, fall inspired makeup look. And thanks for watching.